and welcome to another edition of Old Knacks Nuggets, a Bryan's heating and air conditioning podcast where we get on here and we talk about common questions that the homeowner might have about their heating and air conditioning. My name is Brooklyn, and I am here with Bryan Nacarado, the owner and president of Bryan's Heating and Air Conditioning. How are you doing today?
I'm really good, Brooklyn. I got air in my lungs. I'm up vertical. I'm alive today. It's a good day.
Good.
Well, Brooklyn, what's our topic for today?
Well, today I want to know, it's heating season is coming up, so furnaces are going to be turning on here soon, and want to know why it's important or what the value is in hiring a professional to come and check out your furnace, your heating system, versus, say, doing it yourself.
Okay, good question. So, furnace technology has changed so much over the last several years. And going clear back 30 years ago now, when government mandates required the manufacturers to change how furnaces function. So the technology behind them keeps getting more and more upgraded, if you will. So there's a lot of things that we as technicians, we stay up on, and in terms of understanding that technology and how does this system function. One of the things years and years ago, we had standing pilot furnaces that had burners and a gas valve and a blower motor, and that was about it. And when it came time to ensure that the furnace was clean and ready to go, you just kind of disassembled everything, cleaned it up, put it back together. There was not at that point a whole lot of performance testing that was done, although you could still check the gas pressure on those systems, but there wasn't a lot of performance testing like we do now with the different technology that we have. So it's important to have a professional come out because, number one, they have the expertise and they have the tools to understand what needs to be looked at, and then what are we going to be checking. So there's two sides of a heating system checkup, if you will. One is safety, and the other is performance. How's it doing? And so when we get into the safety side of things, furnaces nowadays have so many different safety switches and safety components on them. Those all need to be looked at. Make sure that everything is functioning the way that it should. And then we get into the performance testing side of things. Every furnace that's made nowadays has what's called a draft fan or an inducer motor. Its function is to pull flue gas through the heat exchanger. In some cases, when we get into the 90% efficiency and higher furnaces, that fan function also is to drive flue gases out of the house. So we're checking to see what's our fan function. Is it where it's supposed to be? We actually put a manometer on there, and we can actually test it and see what it's doing. And then we get into, again, some of the safety things that come along with it. Furnaces have a flame sensor nowadays. And so we check the flame sensor to ensure that it's functioning correctly. If the flame sensor fails, the end result is that people don't have any heat. Ooh. So, these are the kinds of things that we're looking at. And, obviously, clean blower, clean filter, those things are important. The other thing is that every furnace has a rated temperature rise from the manufacturer, and it's on the data plate of every furnace. And it tells you the temperature rise is between this and this, typically 35 degrees to say 65 degrees. And so then once we are doing our testing, we confirm that the temperature rise is actually within that manufacturer's specified range. If it's not, then there's a problem somewhere. And then we dive into that and find out what's going on with it.
So there's quite a bit that can go into furnaces nowadays.
Yes. And we also get into situations if we have, say we suspect that there's a problem with a furnace, we use what's called a combustion analyzer. We're analyzing the flue gas that's coming out of that furnace, and that can tell us a lot as to what's transpiring, what's taking place within that furnace.
There's a lot of functions I did not know about. So is it important for me to have a carbon monoxide detector in my house?
Good question. So anytime we consume a fossil fuel, i.e. natural gas, propane, anything that is a fossil fuel, even wood, puts off carbon monoxide and as part of the combustion process. Now, if the furnace is functioning correctly, that carbon monoxide amount is very, very low, and it leaves the house through the vent system. Again, the older furnaces, the vent went out the roof, and even with 80% furnaces now, they still go out the roof. A lot of our 90% and higher efficiency, those vents are ran in PVC pipe. They may go vertically, they may go horizontally, but that carbon monoxide is being expelled out of the house through the flue gas, through the vent system. So it's important, though, that for peace of mind for some people, that they do have a carbon monoxide detector. And in most cases, again, with the newer furnaces nowadays, there are so many safeties on them that if there's a problem, usually that furnace is going to shut down and it's not going to function. But there are times where maybe we're building up carbon monoxide in the house for some reason. It may be something that doesn't have anything to do with the furnace. It may be the vent system itself. So having a carbon monoxide detector is never a bad idea. Now, I will tell you this, if your house is total electric and you have a heat pump system in there, you're not burning any fossil fuel. There would never be any carbon monoxide produced from your system if you're total electric. But again, if you have a gas-fired furnace, whether it be natural gas or propane, it is producing a very small amount of carbon monoxide. So just for your own peace of mind, there are times where people say, yeah, I'd feel better if I had a carbon monoxide detector. The biggest thing, though, to remember is that those do have a lifespan on them. In other words, if you buy a carbon monoxide detector, they don't last forever. And depending on the manufacturer, they'll tell you in there how frequently that needs to be replaced.
I gotcha. So what would be the process in having a professional come out and check out my furnace?
Yeah. So, it's just a matter of calling a company. There's a lot of good companies in the area. And just saying, I would like to have my furnace looked at before we get into the cold part of winter. Be glad to have somebody come out, have one of the technicians come out and take a look at it. And for us, we have a lot of customers that are on our Blue Star maintenance plan. And so having that piece of equipment looked at on a regular basis is very, very important, especially, again, with all the technology that we have nowadays. And most manufacturers recommend that a system is looked at least once a year minimum. And so if you look at it from the standpoint of, well, we need to look at the furnace once a year, we need to look at the air conditioner once a year, that's where a lot of companies' maintenance plans come into play, where they're going to set that up to where they come out and see you about every 6 months. Biggest thing is we're ensuring that the system is operating the way that it was designed to operate. So if you're not already on a maintenance plan with a company, I would suggest you do that. Again, there's a lot of good companies in the Wichita market area. We'd be glad to have you as a maintenance customer as well. So make that phone call, get that furnace looked at. Talk to them about getting on a maintenance program with them.
Alrighty, well, good to know.
Very good. Hey, before we get out of here today, Brooklyn, I got a quick question.
What's up?
Why did the turkey join a band?
Why?
He wanted to be able to use his drumsticks. Until next time, Old Knack out.